Good afternoon. My name is Matt Samuelson, and I'm the CTO of TriOdos. I'm here today to talk about and hopefully convince you why January is the time to start your IoT project. The agenda is just a very quick 1 minute what industrial IoT is. Then we're going to talk about why January. And for those of you who think why not, maybe come up with some ideas where you should change your mind. Next, we will move on to basically describing that industrial IoT is not difficult if you do it the right way, and we'll give some examples and talk about different approaches. And then I'm going to end up by discussing the TriOdos reference solutions and products that we have. So let's start by looking at what industrial IoT is. So IoT is all about products, things connected to the internet. And those things can be anything from small sensors, devices, to complete industrial systems connected over gateways. This kind of animation here just gives a couple of different examples. In a real industrial IoT solution, you would have different device types, and it would be hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of them. They are all connected via some type of communication, wired, wireless, cellular, to the internet. And what's needed for IoT is something called a data handling application. And the one we're using is something called the IoT Core from Amazon Web Services. And what that does is basically it receives the data, processes the data, reacts to the data, filters the data, and then forwards it to either databases or to applications for analytics or something like that. Or the third one is directly to app servers. And it's the same type of app servers that are used for the internet and mobile applications. And as you can see, data go to these kind of mobile applications that are being used by different user types here. And also, of course, they go to, these are web applications. They go to mobile applications and that are hosted on regular phones, tablets, or laptops. So why January? Well, you may look like these core characters on top here. So here's some idea. So 2020 was in many ways a lost year for many new initiatives. We had several customers that were about to engage with us in January, February, and then COVID came along, and basically the message was come back at the end of the year, and we of course now re-engaging there. So last year. But then why January? Well, because industrial IoT can actually deliver results this year if you do it the right way. And the cost, complexity, and time to market are still trending lower. So it's easier now than it was a year ago. And there are many reasons for that, and we'll talk about some of those. More industrial IoT solutions are coming to the market. Companies are basically have understood that offering a platform and then very expensive customization or having companies develop on their own is very complex and very expensive. So these solutions, some of them are kind of complete, basically ready to go, and wrapped in packaging, and all you need to do is to get devices and start screwing them onto your assets or your equipment. Others are more flexible, understanding that companies either want their IoT solutions to be flexible enough to deal with the multiple things, or they want to develop their own IoT solutions. Now, of course, you can do that with these complete solutions, but the flexible ones makes it easier to do that. And then, of course, the underlying technology trends are still favorable. Moore's law at work, as it has been since the 1960s. And that means that every 2 years, things change for the better, so to speak. Less power, more processing, and better communication. Why not? Well, if your business continues to work just fine and you're happy and you think you're gonna come out much better at the end of this year than in the beginning, maybe IoT is not for you. However, IoT can open up a tremendous amount of business opportunities for your business. And these opportunities come in three areas: create, monitor, and understand. And create and monitor is, or create is basically, new revenue, new services, better customer experience, and completely new customer experiences. And that typically involves developing the products or services you have, equipping them with IoT devices or connectivity, and then develop the applications that will create the better customer experiences or the new customer experiences. Sometimes connected products are sell at a natural premium. That was really true a couple of years ago, but it's still true. I used to say that add $7 of electronics to a $250 product, and you can suddenly sell it for $350. So good margins for that. Monitor is understanding your business, understanding your operations, services, and products, and this can be basically the outcome is a bit of a dashboard where, as a business owner, you suddenly know things about your business and operations that you didn't know before. Now, a lot of that is becoming true today, because a lot of your suppliers, for example, shippers and others, already have implemented web solutions that provide you with better information about shipment and things like that. What they haven't done in many cases is equipped your business with sensors and connected your different parts of the operations to the internet. Things like manufacturing equipment, manufacturing processes, etc. And introducing IoT will allow you to much better monitor your overall operations. And the final one is understanding. Customer experience is something really difficult to understand. You can go and ask your customers, and they probably won't tell you because they are nice guys. But what you can do with IoT is actually really monitor the customer experience. And there's sometimes there are surprises. For example, there was a real boom in smartwatches a couple of years ago, and a lot of them had to do with exercise trackers, etc. Well, it turns out that it took a while before people figured out that the typical user of an exercise tracker uses it for about 6 months, and then they stop using it. So that's important information. If you're in that particular business, you quickly understand how your customers are using your product, and then you can immediately start an interaction with them as to what is it you need to do to improve the usage. Understanding your business is, of course, you can see the revenues coming in. I mean, if you sell through Walmart, you get sales on a daily basis, and you can, from your shipping warehouse and distributors, you can find out how much they're selling. But there's a difference between getting that type of reporting and then seeing people actually installing and starting to use your particular product. And of course, the final one is really to understand your operations, all the way from product design, engineering, manufacturing, distribution, and delivery to the customer, and then the customer experience, and you eventually then move to the next step of servicing the customer and dealing with things that aren't functioning. That's all. So IoT can be difficult, complex, time-consuming, and costly, but it doesn't have to be. It's all about data and action. The only reason you want to implement IoT in your business and with your products is to derive data from them that allow you to take action. And that action can be, knowing how to deal with customers, etc. But the action can also be with the things like create firmware upgrades and interacting, basically make products interactive instead of one way. So you have to ask yourself the question, what do you want to do and know? And I've worked with customers over the years, and most customers will really, if you ask the question, what is it you wish you knew in your business that you don't know today? There's no shortage of getting answers, and IoT can basically deliver these answers in a very, very large number of cases. It's about connected assets and product, and connecting, while it could be hard, it's easier than you think. And connectivity to the internet is, standard. We all use Wi-Fi at home, local area networks, secure industrial networks. They can all be made through gateways to communicate with the internet. And then we have all sorts of kind of near field communication, and near field these days is expanding to be 3/4 of a mile around a gateway. So you can literally connect up a whole industrial site, or you can connect up a whole shopping center, and or any particular facility, and start to monitor it. And the gateways are then connected via cellular network, so that you can literally do it anywhere in the country where you can get a cell phone signal. There are also, new low-cost internet connectivity cellular services, 2 of them, something called LTE-M, and it uses the same LTE network as your regular phone does, and something called narrowband IoT that has some advantages. The disadvantage is the bit rates are lower, but that's totally acceptable if you're monitoring something where something is happening once every 3 hours or less. And the advantage with narrowband IoT is that it reaches much deeper into buildings. So you can basically create building monitoring systems that you can use gateways and Bluetooth technologies for the majority of, say, an industrial building. And then in the difficult to get places or slightly remotely, you just basically use narrowband IoT connectivity instead. And the key here is a lot of these product-specific IoT offerings, they tend to be limited as to the devices that you can connect. But with the correct device partner, they have already solved that problem, and you're ready to go to business. Difficult, yes. If you're going to do it yourself, it's a steep learning experience, and it is a time-consuming and costly. Bring up an IT solution on your own is at least a multi-million-dollar proposition, and will take 1 to 2 years. To give you an example, what I'm going to show us what Triodos are doing, and we offer a solution. We've spent 2 years developing it, and it's more than 30,000 lines of code. Just to take an existing platform and integrate it to make sure that it works with applications and everything. So choose the right partner, and the crooked path you see above suddenly becomes a straight line. Many moving parts. Difficulty with IoT is the web is easy. It's basically websites and this, browsers or app platforms on Android and iPhone. So 3 moving parts, I guess 2, with few variations, 4 different browsers and 2 different phone platforms. And that the application side is the same in IoT, so don't let people fool you. There's nothing difficult with that part. The challenging part is the front end, where you have hundreds of different types of devices And they're all different, by the way, different data models, different connectivity methods. They come with different bugs. Believe me, we're fixing a lot of bugs for our device suppliers as we are integrating their products with our solution. So yes, there are many moving parts. So what you need to do is you need to choose solutions where they are integrated already. Costly, doing it yourself, I already told you, use reference solutions and products. So with that as an introduction, and I'm going to go through what we're doing at Triodos. It's not going to be a very strong sales pitch. I'm basically just going to describe what it is we're doing so that you know what it is you need to do when you do it on your own. So we basically choose the AWS IoT cloud platform as a foundation. And the reason we did that is that it is the market leader. There are many cloud-based IT platforms available. The big ones, I mean, AWS is the market leader. Number 2 is Microsoft Azure, but you also have solutions from IBM, Oracle, and even Google. You can build there, and they all pretty much are the same. They offer a basic set of capabilities, and then what you as a user do, you have to learn what they are, and then you have to basically put the code together around them to make sure that you get things working. And so we realized that and said, yeah, you can start with the great IoT core platform, but in order to build solutions, what you need is applications for data analytics, monitoring, and administration. You need to use the IoT core data handling and storage and analytics. You need to glue that together. You need to develop the software that processes the data that you're generating and basically results in the actions that you want to see happening, whether it's in the form of applications, things are happening on applications, whether email or SMS messages are sent out, or whether you end up communicating directly with an IoT product itself. And have it modify its behavior or something like that. So all of this is, you have to develop the use case, you have to understand how to implement it, and then you have to implement it. I already talked about the connectivities. There's a whole range of them. Bringing them up the first time is actually not as easy as you think. If you deal with wired networks and local area networks, you end up dealing with nasty things like firewalls and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily an easy task to deal with. It can be handled, but it's kind of a one-by-one basis. So you have to understand that. The advantage with wireless communication, particularly if you use the cellular network, is that you do have actually separate, totally secure connectivity between your either IT device or your gateway. And the way that becomes totally secure, you end up doing what we've done, and that again is an integration effort. We have partnered up with AT&T as our wireless provider, and we actually have a private VPN between their cellular network and the AWS cloud. So none of the data ever goes through the public internet, and therefore, obviously, it is encrypted. And the notion of problems with security literally goes away. We don't do devices on our own. We're not a hardware shop from that perspective. We can assist our customers with when they develop their own hardware devices, whether they choose themselves or they find a company that does it for them. What we will do is we'll work with them and propose different solutions. Particularly what we will propose or maybe things like real-time operating systems. AWS has one, it's free. It has a lot of security mechanisms built in that is closely integrated with their AWS IoT core. But other things we may assist with is which data models should you be using, how should you deliver and receive data, which formats, etc. And so we end up discussing things like JSON and MQTT and stuff like that. Our applications are evolving. So you have one set of applications today, for example, in analytics, and then the more customers we have, the more devices we have, we add what are called pods in our user interfaces. That allows you to support an ever expanding number of devices, use cases, types of data coming in, and types of results that are generating. We are customized. We have a customization function to meet your specific needs and integrations. And what that basically means that we will sit down with you and discuss the use cases, and then we will propose an architecture, or we'll propose an implementation. Actually, we're not going to propose an architecture. We're going to show you something, and we're going to show you something that is real. We're going to show you a functioning application driven by simulators, and we will do that in weeks rather than months. So you've seen this reference architecture before. There's no point in me going over everything again, except some of the approaches we've taken. All of our app servers and things like that, and also server, email and SMS, we use the stuff that Amazon already has implemented, which means that our solution will scale to any level. I'm going to talk a little about what our applications are, but the key is when we develop our applications, we start by who's going to use this application and what is it that they want to know. Is it going to be a business analyst? Is it going to be an administrator that assigns new accounts to be able to log into these different applications? Or basically says, okay, every time there's a new distributor coming online, you're going to create a set of applications that are unique for that particular distributor. So that's another thing you can do with our approach. You can basically use it in your business, and then you can customize applications. You can customize the looks for your distributors or for your customers so that they get what they want. Or it can be a business analyst that basically analyzes the data, uses analytics and all sorts of different tools so that you eventually start to learn more and more about your business. We have 6 reference solutions, and the reason we have these solutions is basically, okay, come to us with what your use case is, and we'll quickly figure out which reference solutions it is. Are you going to track your assets? Are you going to? Do you have embedded boards in your products already? You just need to connect them. Do you have integrated? Or are you going to develop an integrated product? I.e., you're going to develop a new circuit board with a new Internet of Things system on a chip. So that would be our integrated connected product monitoring. And then, if you want to monitor your machines in a manufacturing operation, that's one solution. If you want to monitor general industrial system, that's another one. Anyway, we got 6 of them. The other thing we did, we took these 6 and basically took the tracker one and turned it into 3 products as an example. And one is general for kind of tracking assets. You just basically screw a tracking monitor onto onto your asset or to your product, and then you're in business with a battery life over 3 years. You can recharge them, by the way. Open, close, straightforward security. A lot of things you want to know. Are doors open? Are gates around electrical facilities in the rural areas? Are they open or closed? If you can place a cell phone call there, you can monitor it using our application. And the third one we did is actually working with some interested customers is to automate the tripping or automate the monitoring of animal traps, so that if the pest control company will know when they actually close or not. Our 4 solutions I've talked about earlier. It's a general dashboard for IT data. On the right, dashboard for analytics. And these are, pod-based, both of them. We do have what is called a network operations center. So if you have a business with 10,000 IoT devices sitting with your customers, and you want to operate and make sure that they are working all the time, this is what this network operations center do. Administration I talked about. Provisioning is unique. It's challenging, and how do you do it? The minute you connect a new IoT device, whether an additional one of IoT devices you already have or a completely new one, you need to quickly be able to bring that up and running, and basically have it that the minute you connect it, you should be able to, without typing a lot of different things, you should be able to basically immediately start seeing it popping up in a new location, sending data. And that is actually something that we do from our provisioning interface. And it's also something we will be offering augmented by a mobile application, so that you can scan a QR code, and from that perspective, basically automatically it pops up, and the new device automatically becomes part of analytics and systems monitoring. You don't have to do anything extra. So we're kind of a couple of minutes left. I'm looking at some of the questions I received. I'm going to take the really low-hanging and easy one here, and that is, okay, I want to do IoT in January. What do I do? Well, just go to our website, and you can implement, and there it is a contact us, and you'll fill in the form, tell us what you want to do, and you'll be contacted by one of our sales associates, but chances are that you quickly will be talking to me. Let's see, got a second question here. What if I have IoT devices that I want to use that you haven't integrated with? Well, what we together do, we basically just take a look at the overall business case, look at the overall opportunity associated with that device, and then in most cases we'll just go ahead and do the integration. Integrating a new device is not something that takes us months and years to do, and we're basically getting better and better at it, and we can typically have something up and running and showing how it works in a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Those were the two questions that I received that I can see here. I'm going to wait a minute or two here to see if there's anything in addition coming in here, or here's one. Should I wait? Well, waiting has a cost associated with it. What you probably want to do is want to make sure that your company is ready for IoT. So you can either be, the corner office guy, or the guy hidden in the basement that do some skunk works. We'd be happy to help you with that, and we can bring up some prototypes and things like that. But you need to anchor the IoT project in your company. And if you want to find out more about how to do that, take a look at our website and our blogs. I tend to do most of the blogs. I'm not only a technology guy, I'm also kind of business development, marketing guy. Done a lot of new product development over the years. And so I typically, I know that one of the blogs covers a subject that you want to hear about. So. Well, with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this short webinar, and hopefully we've given you enough information to get started here in January. Thank you very much.